Leaders, this topic is unusual. We don't cover geopolitics. But we are going through such times that I felt it's pertinent to cover this to have you clarity about what if Pakistan and India gets into nuclear conflict that impacts the well-being of every person in this country and stability of the region as a whole. It's going to impact us socially, politically, economically, and geostrategically. You have all seen the nation has been mourning the death of terrorist attack victims that took place in Pahalgam. Government of India has vowed to give the strangest possible response. The Prime Minister has called to hunt down the perpetrators, sponsors, and supporters of this act from all corners of the world. There have been diplomatic efforts, there has been military preparations going on both sides. And all the actions, one of the most prominent actions has been putting the Indus River Treaty into abeyance that has massive impact on social, economical, and political well-being of Pakistan. Today, we are going to discuss something that's been running on your mind: the nuclear war. What if the war breaks between India and Pakistan? How it's going to impact us as individuals? How is this going to impact the stability of our nation? How is this going to impact us socially, politically, geostrategically, diplomatically, and economically? Are we prepared enough to counter a nuclear action from Pakistan? What kind of warheads Pakistan has? We are going to go deep into it. We'll talk about the warheads. We'll talk about the delivery system. We'll also talk about the command and communication system, because it's not just about how much of nuclear warhead you carry. Your ability to translate your warheads to damage to the enemy is the key in the nuclear warfare. What impact it will have on Pakistan, India? How will the world tackle this? We are going to answer all of these questions that's on your mind. So stay till the end so that you get a much deeper and wider perspective if nuclear war happens between Pakistan and India. So first thing, is this a matter of concern? It's a matter of deep concern, of course, to the citizens of both the countries. Of course, Pakistanis would be as concerned as we Indians are, because it impacts our daily life, it impacts our well-being, it impacts the way we live, operate, it impacts the future of both India and Pakistan. It also impacts the world because the trade routes are going to be disturbed. Things are not going to be as usual. It will have an economic impact on the stock markets across the world. The world is already dealing with Russia-Ukraine war, Gaza, Israel conflict, and various other unpleasant things happening all across. Now, the world is going to try its level best to prevent any nuclear action between these two countries. First, let's look at who stands where. So first, let's talk about the nuclear warheads. Do Pakistan and India have enough warhead to damage each other? So let's first talk about Pakistan. Pakistan has anywhere between 170 to 175 nuclear warheads. This amount of warhead is good enough to destroy a country like India. Now, when you talk about India, India was lagging behind in the number of warheads for a very, very long time. But if you believe the latest report by SIPRI, Stockholm Institute of Peace that keeps track of all the warheads. They say India has slight edge. So while Pakistan has anywhere between 170 to 175 warheads, India has somewhere between 175 to 180. This is not a massive difference. It's very minuscule, slight difference in the number of warheads. We have slight edge, but I would not call it a very big advantage over Pakistan. Now, is having warheads enough? No. You also must have the capability of delivering the nuclear bombs to your enemy country. And that's where comes missile systems. So India and Pakistan, where do they stand? Let's talk about it. So let's first talk about Pakistan. Pakistan has short-range missiles like Nasser that has the range of 60 to 70 kilometers. Then it's Abdali, that's up to 200 kilometers. Then Ghaznavi, 300 kilometers. And it all goes out to Shaheen 3 that can deliver the payloads up to 2,750 kilometers. That covers the whole of India. Today, Pakistan has capability to drop a bomb in any part of India. Let's accept this truth. Do I want to uh, demoralize our countrymen? I just want to give it a reality check so that we are better prepared for it. Now, where does India stand? India doesn't have very short range missile like NASA 60, 70 kilometers. The missiles that India, it starts with Prithvi that has 300 up to 350 kilometers. Of course, it can drop a bomb at a shorter distance too. Then we have got Agni, 700 kilometers. Agni 2 that has the range of 2000 kilometers. And then Agni 5 that has range of 5200 kilometers. Now, broadly, if you look, the Pakistan's missile Shaheen can deliver up to 2750 kilometers, and India's Agni 5 can go and bomb up to 5200 kilometers. Is this an edge? Absolutely. But do you need this edge? This capability is good. You can deter anybody, China, even Europe, maybe beyond Europe. 5,200 kilometers, it's not the standard route. It's straight 5,200 kilometers. You'll cover 3/4 of the world. Is this a huge edge? Of course, it's an edge, but in the current context, you don't need that. Then why you have more capable missiles? You even have edge in nuclear warheads. Then why Pakistan keeps threatening that if you attack us, we are going to use nuclear power. We are going to drop nuclear bombs at you. We'll destroy you. Okay, let's find that out. Pakistan has been telling that it will use tactical nuclear weapon. What does it mean? It's going to use short range Nasser or Abdali missiles. So let's say a war is happening. Indian army attacks Pakistan. Let's say India has gone into Pakistan's territory. What it will do, it would put a missile closer to it, maybe 60, 70, 80, 100 kilometers, and then it can fire that missile to destroy Indians. That's one possibility. Second possibility is if the war happens, then shelling is taking place on POK, for example. Pakistan can institute these missile systems closer to POK and drop few of those nuclear missiles in Indian territory. If that happens, then India, the shortest range missile is 350. That's Prithvi. Now, the question again is, why is Pakistan challenging India, showing its nuclear weapons because of the capability of tactical nuclear weapon. And that's where comes the nuclear doctrine of both the countries. India has always committed to no first use policy. So India said that I am not going to be the first to use nuclear weapon against you. Pakistan says if my territory is at risk, if somebody attacks us to protect our sovereignty and integrity, we can use first. So to deter India, keeping India in mind, the entire nuclear program of Pakistan was developed. So it keeps saying that you say that no first use policy, but we don't follow any such rules. We can use. If you attack us, we will push the button and destroy you. But India has left a scope in nuclear doctrine. How no first use policy helps India is that it's giving a message to the world that you are a peaceful nation. You are on the side of peace. You are a responsible country. But if somebody uses nuclear weapon against you, even if it's a tactical use of nuclear weapon, Indian nuclear doctrine says that we are free to give a befitting reply of the enormity that we decide. So even if Pakistan drops one nuclear warhead or uses a tactical nuclear warhead against India, India can respond with hundreds of bombs and flatten the whole country. India has not put any limitations in the way it's going to respond. So we have talked about two things so far. One is the nuclear warheads. Second is the delivery systems, the missiles which are going to deliver these warheads. And I would say in both of these cases, they are nearly at par. Maybe the number of missiles, that doesn't count. Just a few bombs are good enough to destroy. The third thing that we are talking about is the most critical of all. And here you would know who has the advantage. The command and communication system. So the nuclear warheads are going to be loaded onto the missiles, and somebody will push a button and the missile will shoot off and drop the country. Now, when the button is pushed, how the missile responds, if that can be controlled, then you can save yourself quite a bit. Now, India has worked really hard, as Pakistan has been threatening it that we are going to use tactical nuclear weapons, short range in limited area, doing damage to the Indian army or forces. For that, India has developed a communication system with Israel's cooperation to intercept the command and control system. So let's say Pakistan general sitting somewhere in Islamabad gives a command. They are going to command somebody at the border since it's a short range, and a general or somebody is going to press the button. And all that is happening through encrypted communication. So if somebody there gives command from Pakistan's headquarters, now that command from Pakistan's headquarters, and that communication has to reach the person who has to press the button so that the missile fires. India has developed a system to intercept that communication between headquarters of Pakistan military and the person holding the button. So if the person gives a message, it's not going to be a message over a phone call. because that can be tracked. It will not be even through a satellite call. It's encrypted. Nobody would get to know about it. So imagine they are trying to communicate to the commander on the border who has the button to press, and that communication doesn't reach. If that communication doesn't reach, the person on the border holding the button will not be able to act. Along with it, India has huge IT capabilities. And today, be it nuclear systems, be it communication, all that is networked. Since India has massive advantage of Pakistan in IT, uh, AI, and these capabilities, it can put a band of hackers to destabilize Pakistan's digital infrastructure. If digital infrastructure is hacked and put to rest, that would not cause any bloodshed, but that would give a huge strategic advantage to Indian forces. In a nutshell, if I summarize, when it comes to warheads, both of them are very close. It comes to delivery systems, India has massive edge, but that edge doesn't count because just a few bombs are going to be good enough. So I would call, keeping Pakistan in mind, there both of them are also nearly on par because you're not going to exhaust all of your missiles fighting Pakistan. Yeah, you have to keep China and other uh, enemies in mind too. The real edge India has is the communication and command. It has the capability of intercepting and disrupting the communication process that will disrupt the Pakistan's nuclear strategy against India. And using its AI information technology power, it can India can hugely impact Pakistan's digital and IT infrastructure that will put the country to its knees. So India must focus on its strengths now to fight this war and respond to the nuclear threat. Now, let's look at the geopolitical, economic, social impact of the first use of nuclear weapons by Pakistan. First, nobody wants a more destabilized world, particularly South Asia. The moment Pakistan uses nuclear weapon against India, regardless of the reason, immediately it will attract sanctions, it will attract pushbacks, it will be cornered by all the parties, all the big countries in the world, and even China will not be in position to protect it or fight for it or advocate for it. So that is the biggest risk Pakistan has, which is already under tremendous pressure. And it has been exposed numerous times for the hideouts of terrorists in its territory, including Osama bin Laden. So it's not easy for Pakistan to alienate US and other superpowers of the world. Money, the bailout money Pakistan is getting, that would stop immediately. Okay. There could be internal fights. And if all that happens, then Pakistan can be broken into multiple pieces. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan, all the armed militants, they are going to sit on the heads of Pakistan army, which is dominated by people from Punjab. Pakistan would not like another division, multiple division. Second is social. India has turned off the tap through Indus by putting Indus River Treaty into abeyance. Pakistan is already dealing with scarcity of water. If the outflow of water to Pakistan goes down even by 10 or 20%, that will impact its farming badly in the Punjab region. Sindh is already facing huge scarcity of water, and there is conflict between these two regions in Pakistan. Now, Punjab, Punjabis, Pakistani Punjabis, who have highest influence on Pakistan's polity and military, the people there are going to pay the price. Ideally, the common man, they should not pay the price. But when it comes to conflict, you have to protect your nation's interest. And that's going to put a pressure on the army because their family, their relatives, they are going to suffer. That could cause unrest in these regions. Pakistan is already struggling with unrest in Balochistan. They don't have enough funds to run the country. Any kind of unrest it cannot afford. Economics, it's somehow sailing through on bailout money from IMF with stringent conditions. If IMF stops sending money to him, if it stops getting aids for countries like America, it will have nowhere to go. Now, the friendship that's happening between Bangladesh and Pakistan, Bangladesh cannot help Pakistan. China is always a friend. Even if it tries to help, it's going to be exposed by the world. China is already under tariff pressure from America, and it would not like to take another risk for its tiny friend, pauper friend, Pakistan. If Pakistan uses nuclear missiles first, the India is not going to be silent. India would have already done preparations and it would leverage it diplomatically across the world, including the friends, friendly Islamic nations, UAE, Saudi Arabia, and various other countries. It will be a huge diplomatic leverage for India. And it would not hesitate, India would not hesitate from an all out massive nuclear war with Pakistan. Uh, Now, how the things shape in the real world, that's yet to be seen. War, nuclear war, doesn't help anybody. If India puts attack, even if Pakistan loses, we would still pay a huge price. Those who are the victims of Nagasaki attack, they continue to pay the price. So if a nuclear war happens, the people and the country pays the price for generations. While we keep this in mind, we are also clear that if somebody tries to threaten us, and takes an action against our nation, then we won't care for the consequences. How have you found this video? If you have found it useful, let me know. What are your thoughts about nuclear war between India and Pakistan? If it happens, who has an edge? Who's going to win? Or if you have any concerns, please drop me in the comment below. And it's time for us to stay united as a country. I've been hearing that people saying, okay, Kashmiris, you can't trust them. This time, I've noticed a different kind of Kashmir. Of course, there were a few Kashmiris who provided support, logistics, accommodation, food to the terrorists. Those would be the fraction of them. Majority of Kashmiris, they are happy with the progress, development, business that they have been getting after abrogation of 370. They are living happier and more peaceful than ever. Government has made uh, tons of effort. Billions of dollars have been put into reviving the economy and bringing prosperity to the Kashmiris. This incident must not risk all the gains that we have made in Kashmir. At the same time, we must also ensure that the perpetrators get such a message, regardless of the country they stay in, that before even killing a person or sending a terrorist to India, they must think a million times. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.